Yep. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the January 27th council meeting, City of Crescent Springs. I apologize for being a few minutes late because of traffic. Our cameraman was not here yet. There's an incident on the expressway, so I do apologize for being 5 minutes late getting started, but we're ready to roll. We'll stand for pledge and prayer. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, we thank you for gathering us here today to do the work of the city. Please keep our minds focused on what is best for our residents and those that visit us. Keep us safe in all that is done in the city. In your name we pray. Amen. Roll call, please.
Carol McGowan. Here. Bob Mueller.
Here.
Don Kiley.
Here.
Jeff Smith.
Here.
Janine Bell-Smith. Present. Mark Wittenberger.
Here. Thank you. First item is the minutes from the November 25th meeting. You'll receive those in your packets.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Roll call, please.
Carol McGowan. Yes. Bob Mueller.
Yes.
Don Kiley.
Yes,
Jeff Smith.
I'll abstain since I wasn't part of that.
Janine Bell-Smith. Yes. Mark Wittenberger.
Yes. Thank you very much. A slight change in the agenda. We're going to have Patrick Dembo from PBS come up and talk about the signage at the Fifth Third Bank, since it should be a very short presentation.
Thank you very much. And I am Patrick Dembo, PBS staff. So we have, this is a review of a stage 2 application for additional wall signage at Fifth Third Bank. And this is the bank located at 590 Buttermilk Pike. It's at the intersection of Buttermilk and Anderson Road. It also has Dawson Drive running behind the building, which is basically connects Anderson with Baxter. Baxter is essentially the entrance into the shopping center. So just to give you an idea of where this is. A little bit of history on the site. In 1991, that's when the stage 1 was adopted for the site. And then in 1993, there was a stage 2 for the initial signage on the site, which included wall signage on 2 fronts of the building. It was actually the Anderson Road frontage and the Dawson Drive frontage. And interestingly enough, neither of those frontages have signage currently today. The only existing wall sign is facing the Baxter side of the property as it exists today. So the area is zoned MLU, that's mixed land use, which does require, that's a zone that requires the stage 1, stage 2 process. Signage in this zone is subject to the development plan, subject to the zoning ordinance, but ultimately it's as approved per the plan. So as the plan is adopted, so is the signage. This submitted request includes a new Fifth Third Bank logo sign. This would be on the sign face facing Buttermilk Pike. It is just over 7 square feet. It will be located on the brick wall directly above the entrance. It's illuminated with LED. And just to give some context, if this were in a typical commercial zone, the type of sign that they're requesting could be permitted at a little over 40 square feet based on the linear feet of that wall face. So this is significantly under that. Staff is providing a favorable recommendation on the stage 2 development plan. The proposed final development plan was found to be in substantial compliance with the zoning ordinance. And then although the proposed sign is located along a different wall face than what was approved in the previous development plan, it does represent a significant reduction in the total amount of square footage for signage as what was shown on the original plan. While maintaining signage on only 2 wall frontages. as was originally approved back in 1993. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Does anyone have any questions?
Do you have a photo of that by chance?
I do. It should be attached to the staff report as well.
Yes.
Any other questions? Great. Patrick, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Patrick.
Fire Authority report, Chief Went.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, everybody got a copy of year-end report, and I'm just going to hit the highlights real quickly. 1,548 dispatches, that's up just 2 from last year. Total fire losses for the year, 59,250, which is a huge reduction from last year. It's a reduction of $760,000. Community our size, the average fire loss is about $680,000. Total amount saved in fires, $13,325,000. There were 0 civilian deaths due to fire, 0 firefighter deaths due to fire, 1 civilian injury, and 0 firefighter injuries for the year. Ambulance calls, 1,224, fire responses, 534. In my report, I did mention that how proud we are of only having $59,000 in fire losses. All the fires that we had for the year were contained to the room of origin, which means we got to the fires quick enough that we were able to put them out and contain it. So let's say if your stove caught fire, we're able to contain it to the kitchen. And that speaks to the increase in staffing and the quickness that our guys are getting out. More proud of the fact that all the awards that the EMS staff received last year. Dr. Lee, our medical director, implemented a plan to test our paramedics and test our EMTs. We've implemented all that 100%, and it's certainly paid off because we've had some incredible saves over the last year. Couple updates on the firehouse. There are a few issues still with the concrete ongoing and the electric. So that's what's holding us up for close on the project. And one last thing is the week of the terrible snow. We did combine with Public Works and the police officers. We let them use our building. My idea was I don't like fire trucks to go out unless they have to in the snow. So the more they eat and do everything in-house, the better. So we invited Public Works and the police officers to join us to eat, and I think a few of them even used the showers. So the new building has worked out well in that aspect.
Anything for the chief?
I was gonna ask, so I think last meeting we brought up, was there some damage done to an ambulance?
Yes, so there was an accident, I think it was 2 weeks ago now. The ambulance was coming back from a call at the hospital and slid through the intersection at Turkey Foot 275. $5,000 damage to the ambulance itself has been turned into the insurance. The other car, I haven't got the estimate on, but all handled by insurance.
Okay.
Chief, I just want to tell you, thank you for your prompt action on the work permit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thanks, chief.
Is there anything else under 530? Because I'm going to leave.
I think so.
Okay, thanks.
Don't worry, I'll say.
Chief Hall?
Good evening, everybody. I will give, I don't like to butt up and take away his thunder by any way, shape, or form from fire. I'll give my yearly report next month for all council meetings, FYI. Hopefully, everybody got a copy of my December monthly. We had 836 calls for service. As far as our dispatch calls, 44% were in Villa Hills, 56% calls were in Crescent Springs. I'll kind of go through some of this. It's kind of run-of-the-mill. We had, several collisions. If you guys look at total collisions and top roadway collisions, guess what? Our remote is our top go-getter again. Never seems to fade me, in any way, shape, or form. Detective Lucas stays extremely busy, like I've said, every month. He was able to close out a death investigation case with the assistance with the North Texas Guard Strike Force with some criminal charges, and he also was able to close out a stabbing that we investigated as well up at one of our local restaurants in Crescent Springs. So a great job to them. Kudos to all the employees. We did focus on diminished capacity, excited delirium as far as our training for the month. Again, that's our going over our own policies and procedures and our videos that we give the officers to view and review. Our department overtime for the month, we had 4 for court, 8 in shift coverage, 16 with shop and cop and firemen. I know it sounds like I've beat this to a dead horse, but again, thank you for all the help with shop and cop and firemen. Range 6.5 hours. Stabbing did accrue 7.5 hours of overtime, and then we also had presence in the park in December. So we had a grand total of 49 hours of overtime for the department. Just a couple things. One, I know Chief Wint already touched base on it. I wanted to thank him for his usage of the firehouse during the snowstorm for our officers. They did utilize the beds and the showers and the workout rooms. That has worked out amazingly. Officers that live a little bit further out were able to come in before the snow hit. They stayed there and were well fed and well taken care of. So appreciate the fire department and obviously all the amenities that it offers. We did send 4 officers to Washington, D.C. If anybody saw the Facebook post, to assist with the presidential inauguration. The 4 officers were selected by out of the hat. We have a lot of interest into it. This is the first time that Villa Hills was able to send officers up there to assist with the inauguration. So much appreciated to them. They are back home safe, and it was once in a lifetime experience. So thank you for allowing them to be able to do that. The last bit of information I have is Detective Lucas is now Sergeant Lucas. So we did promote Andrew Lucas to our newest position as a sergeant.
Congratulations to him. Anything else for the chief? Thanks, sir. Public Works report, please.
I'm just going to go through a couple things here. The Public Works crew, I think, did an amazing job on the snowfall, and I really thank the firehouse for letting us use their showers. They fed us, they did everything like that, so we do appreciate that. Just some personal stuff here. We had a new hire, Brandon Stevens. He's a full-time. He started right in the middle of our snowstorm, and he did fantastic, so I think he's a good addition to our crew. We have 1 full-time employee that's getting the road scholar and the roadmaster as of this point. The Harris Road project has been completed, other than the backfilling, which that will happen in the spring, so that will be done. The street paving program is in full swing, and I believe it was Rigler that won the bid for the streets that are getting ready to be paved. Duke Energy, in February, late March, they're going to be around the city because they're going to abandon some gas mains. So they got their permits the other day, so there's probably about 14 locations that they're going to abandon. The church, the Crescent Springs Baptist Church, their bell, they donated to the city. We picked that up today, and we're storing it until the mayor decides where he would like to eliminate that. The Northern Kentucky Water District still has a couple locations, one being on High Street. Come spring, that they have to fix a location where a water main break was. And there's also a sinkhole at 2517 Hazelwood that we have been working with the property owner and C1 right now to get that taken care of.
I had a couple questions, Tanya.
Tanya, has anything been done on Short Amsterdam filling the potholes? The road is failing quickly.
Yes, so we have filled the potholes on Short Amsterdam. We keep watching them weekly as of right now, and the road is actually on the list for a grant that we have applied for.
I've read that thoroughly, but that's not going to take place for quite a while.
I'm not sure
That's
exactly
my understanding.
that.
What can we do to push that project further? I mean, I talked with the county regarding Short Amsterdam and the sidewalks and the repaving?
The sidewalk, I believe is one is completely different.
I'm
I'm sorry,
Obviously, yeah.
The sidewalk is a different project other than the blacktop.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay, so the blacktop is, we added that to the grant. Actually, I'm gonna have it. It's the CPP funding grant, the County Property Projects Program. And Short Amsterdam is one of the roads that we have on that program. So I believe that we were awarded that, so we're just waiting. No, we're not awarded that.
They're supposed to make a decision in the next
So
month or
for
so.
clarification, are you
Thank you.
talking about the county has control over this?
No,
It's a-
April-
it's a state- it's a
April-
state-
My hearing is bad. I have,
I'm gonna ask April because she's better at the grants
Okay.
than I am.
it's a grant situation?
Yes.
Yeah, I do have some comprehensive of that, but right now, we have a need to basically fix, we're not only getting potholes, we're getting strips of potholes, and if you've driven up through Short Amsterdam, which all of my residents drive every day, and then Villa Hills people, it really needs to be taken care of as soon as possible. It's failing. And I know we've talked about this many times before. I do thank you for getting the hole filled in, the 4-inch pothole, which has been a talk for about 4 years, and we finally got it done. Finding out that Duke Energy is the culprit. Are they going to raise that?
It is a manhole, and what they did is they abandoned it and then they paved over top of it.
Are they going to come and raise it then, did you say?
No, it's completely gone. They just,
Oh,
They
it's
just-
down,
yeah.
it's mute.
Yeah.
No, okay, it's no longer functional.
Right.
So therefore, we need to keep that pothole
yeah,
filled.
so it's completely paved over right now.
Okay, yeah, I see
Side
it
of them,
now.
not us.
Yeah, you came back and did another take on it, it works well.
Okay.
But if you look on the other side, as you go up toward Ashley Point, where they had the wires called down over it to the wires, we had that one windstorm back in, I guess, back last year.
Okay.
Remember, the road was cut down and those people couldn't get out of Ashley Point, or Terrace Point, I'll say.
Okay.
And that area seems to be the most in need of having repairs.
Okay, you're talking about from Rumble Crescent Springs Road to Triple Lake, correct?
I'm talking about Ashley Terrace, that first
Archie
entrance.
Terrace, okay.
Yes, that seems to be where there was a lot of issues going on there, which might have been a reason for the people working there trying to repair the down wires. Because the sad thing about that, those people had no way to get out of their community, no way at all, and I'm sure you're aware of that.
I do remember that, yes.
Yeah, but that seems to be a really huge issue there that needs to be. And then you talked about the striping with the yellow marking of the road and the berm on the white. You say that's going to be in the spring?
Yeah, we're actually getting bids for the springtime, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sonia, a couple questions. On Harris, that job, are they going to come back and, they're going to come back and seal the concrete in those joints on the street?
To my understanding, I'll have to go out there and look, but I thought that was already completed.
They didn't seal
They
it.
did, okay.
But I'm just curious if they're going to seal the concrete as well.
Okay.
If you could find out, let me know, appreciate that. And then, do you know if they conducted a proof roll on that street before they
I'm sorry.
did you know if they conducted a proof roll on Harris before they took the base down?
I will ask.
Okay, appreciate it. And one more thing, how many snowplow trucks do we have with plows?
So we have 3.
3, that's it?
We have 1 ordered, so
Okay,
it should be here at the end of May.
okay. The reason I asked, during that snowstorm, you all did a good job just cleaning it up, but it was like 28 hours went by and nobody came down our street at all. And one of my neighbors actually had to call me and I had to run into the airport because he couldn't get off our street. You all did a great job of cleaning it all up, but like I said, 28 hours went by before anybody came down. We had a foot of snow on our street.
Okay.
I think maybe show a little more attention to that little jet there, that little hill, appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you for your all's service.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you. Mayor's report, what I have has been mentioned about 27 times, I think, already. Great job on the snow. It was massive. I actually flew in right as the snow was starting and was here for the whole event, and the Public Works did a great job. I appreciate that. along with the fire and the police department all working together to keep everything safe. That's what I have. Mr. Daly.
Thank you, Mayor Doherty. I have two small items. The first one is the Old Crescent Springs preliminary engineering study. We're going to have our first meeting with the committee this Wednesday at 10 a.m. I included an agenda with my report for you to look at, and April will be posting that officially and properly. My second thing is 639 Buttermilk Pike, the new financial building that will be going in at the Baptist Church site. I just wanted to give this group a heads up that the demolition project will be starting for that site. They do have the proper permits in hand, and they will be beginning that part of the project. I did ask several questions to the group regarding traffic flow, pedestrian safety, noise control, proximity to obviously Buttermilk Pike, and notices and alerts. And their answers or replies were in green there. I think they answered them, and I don't see any issues moving forward with the demo project. That's all I have for tonight, unless there's something else someone has.
Is it still not disclosed to the financial company?
So tomorrow morning, I'm going to send an email to this group only, and I ask that you keep it to yourself for 30 days. I did just talk to the project manager and asked him that same question, Carol, about letting this group know. So I'll be letting this group know tomorrow morning in an email.
Thank you.
Mike, we got an update on the island on Wood Hill?
Yes. Tanya?
The island on Wood Hill, the construction.
Hey, Tiny, can you come up to the microphone,
Yes.
please?
I apologize. The construction company is taking out 52 foot of the island to make their entrance into their homes there. And then we have put out, I believe Greg Sketch is getting estimates for the other section of the island.
Do you know approximately how many feet will be left after they take out the 52?
I do not. I can measure that for you.
Do we have to take it out?
Do we have to take it out?
Yeah.
It would be better if we took it out, I believe, yes.
I think the answer, no,
Right.
but it might, that's why I wonder how long it is. I mean, if it's only 10 feet left, it would look kind of silly to have to.
No, I agree.
So I think my answer is, do we have to take it out? No. Should we? It depends. And until we know how long it is, and I think that's,
And it more than likely won't take place till the 25-26 budget. And Don, I did ask them if they would cover the entire island, and they said no.
And we have estimates that they're for the entire island, so now that we know what they're taking out, we're gonna edit our.
Who's been maintaining that, do we know?
We have an agreement with Fisher regarding the,
Because I know somebody just put trees and rock and all kinds of stuff in there, just,
Fisher, they did, with that agreement. And obviously that agreement is gonna go by the wayside because Fisher has communicated with, the contractor, the place that's gonna be going on with the condominium, so we're going away with the contract. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the right-hand turn from Western Reserve onto Wood Hill, our corner there is just taking a beating. So maybe in the long term, if we were to get rid of the island, it will open up the flow of more room for the traffic itself.
We have the new sidewalk right there, and they're having a hard time getting back in there, so they're tearing up the new sidewalk.
is that EDA right there? Who's bearing that cost?
As far as the removal of the 52 feet, it will be the actual contractor that will be constructing the condominium. However, the other portion that they're not going to do, obviously, it would fall on the city if that's what we decide, yes or no.
And I'll
But it
get
would
the
be
measurements.
something we would have to budget for properly.
Okay, thank you. Anything else for Mr. Daly?
Thank you.
Any old business?
I have one item.
Okay.
Just want the council to know that the brief for the city has been filed with the Court of Appeals on the flagpole issue. The reply brief is due next week, I believe. And after that, it's up to the Court of Appeals to decide how long they want to take to decide. And I don't have a time frame on that at all. So
Is this in regards to the line in back of the firehouse?
this is the flagpole back.
Oh,
on
the
storage.
flagpole, I'm sorry, the flagpole.
That's all I have.
Anybody else have any business?
Mr. Baker, may I stop a minute, or? Turn on the mics, because I can hear hardly anything. The mic's on, and speak into the microphone, mine is not on. And I have an issue today with my ears being stopped. If it's turned on, I don't see it on mine.
Mine's not on.
Yeah, speak loudly, please, I appreciate that.
It's rare that someone has told me that I do not speak loudly.
Yes, I know. As a teacher, you learn to project your voice so the students will pay attention.
Should be on that.
It is on there. As a lawyer, you learn to project your voice.
Yes, sir, you do. Thank you so much.
My wife, unfortunately, knows that all too well.
So now we do have our 3 lights on, and I thank you very much, April.
First item of new business, first reading of ordinance 2025-1, the stage 1, approving stage 2 plan for the sign at Fifth Third. This is first reading only.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance 2025-1, an ordinance of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky approving a Stage 2 development plan for an additional wall sign for Fifth Third Bank located at 590 Buttermilk Pike, Crescent Springs, Kentucky, and adopting the report of the Kenton County Planning Commission staff report dated December 31st, 2024. Whereas an application for a Stage 2 development plan was filed for a new wall sign at the Fifth Third Bank location at 590 Buttermilk Pike, Crescent Springs, Kentucky. And whereas the Planning and Development Services of Kenton County, PDS, issued a staff report on December 31st, 2024, recommending approval of the application for the Stage 2 development plan. See the staff report for case number AR-24-0016-FD. And whereas the staff of PDS has reported to City Council and recommended the adoption of the submitted Stage 2 development plan, and whereas the City Council of the City of Crescent Springs has reviewed the presentation made by PDS in support of the proposed Stage 2 development plan, now therefore be it ordained by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Crescent Springs that the Stage 2 development plan for Fifth Third Bank is styled in the PDS staff report for case number AR-24-0016-FD. Being hereby is approved as stated in the staff report of PDS dated December 31st, 2024. And said staff report is incorporated herein by reference as if fully restated.
Thank you. That's the first reading. No action needed on that this evening. Next item is municipal order 2025-1, an interlocal agreement with Kenton County Fiscal Court, City of Villa Hills and Bromley regarding maintenance for portions of Amsterdam Road.
Municipal Order 2025-1, a municipal order of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, authorizing the mayor to enter into an interlocal agreement with the Kenton County Fiscal Court, the City of Villa Hills, and the City of Bromley regarding road maintenance for a portion of Amsterdam Road. Whereas an interlocal agreement has been in effect since 2009 regarding the maintenance and treatment of Bromley-Crescent Springs Road and parts of Amsterdam Road along the Kenton County, among the Kenton County Fiscal Court, the City of Villa Hills, the City of Crescent Springs, and the City of Bromley. And whereas the realignment, redesign, and reconstruction of Bromley-Crescent Springs Road necessitates an amendment to the existing road maintenance agreement. And whereas an interlocal agreement for road maintenance has been presented by the Kenton County Fiscal Court to each of the cities named herein, and whereas the interlocal agreement for road maintenance sets forth the responsibilities for each entity regarding the maintenance for parts of Amsterdam Road, commonly known as Short Amsterdam, from the midpoint of Forest Hill Drive south to its intersection with Bromley-Crescent Springs Road. And whereas the city has determined that the interlocal agreement for road maintenance adds no additional burden upon the city of Crescent Springs, and said agreement incorporates existing practices and treatment. Now therefore be it ordained by the mayor and the city council of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute the interlocal agreement for road maintenance on behalf of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, for the road maintenance on Short Amsterdam Road, as set forth in the interlocal agreement for road maintenance among the Kenton County Fiscal Court in the cities of Villa Hills, Crescent Springs, and Bromley. The interlocal agreement for road maintenance shall not take effect until all of the entities have signed the agreement.
So just as a reminder, everybody, this is just memorializing basically what we have been doing and the other cities and entities have been doing for some time. It's just putting pen to paper and memorializing it.
What is the timeline on this?
It is my understanding, and I get most of that from Mike Daly, that Villa Hills has had its first reading. We're not sure where Bromley is in the process.
And so we've had our first reading then.
Well,
Today,
we're reading it tonight to authorize the mayor to sign it.
So
So
how do we,
the last signatory, I think, will be Bromley, is the
yes,
answer.
and how can we make sure that maybe Mike can find out what Bromley is doing?
I can, yes,
Thank you, Mike.
yes.
I don't think that'll affect how it's presently treated, however.
Okay.
You can correct me.
No, we're still gonna have to be responsible for.
It's going to get plowed, is what I'm really saying.
Yes. Any other comments? I will take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Carol McGowan, Yes. Bob Mueller,
Yes.
Don Kiley,
Yes.
Jeff Smith,
Yes.
Janine Bell Smith,
Yes.
Mark Wittenberger,
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next is municipal order 2025-2, entering into interlocal agreement with Kent County Fiscal Court and other cities regarding use of the opioid abatement funds.
Municipal Order 2025-2, a municipal order of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, authorizing the mayor to enter into an interlocal agreement with Kent County Fiscal Court and other cities located in Kenton County, Kentucky, regarding the use of opioid abatement funds for the multi-jurisdictional law enforcement navigator program. Whereas the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky is one of several cities that have been asked to join an interlocal multi-jurisdictional law enforcement navigator program agreement using opioid abatement funds as set forth in KRS 15.291 subsection 5. And whereas said program would be administered by and through the Kenton County Fiscal Court, but would use funds that are paid to cities, including the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, for the opioid abatement purposes. And whereas the City of Crescent Springs has reviewed the interlocal agreement and finds that the funds paid to the City of Crescent Springs can best be used by the turnover of said funds to the Kenton County Fiscal Court for use in the multi-jurisdictional law enforcement navigator program, hereinafter the LEN program. And whereas said proposed agreement has been discussed and City Council has determined that the best use of the opioid abatement funds is to be best placed in the LEN program. And now therefore be it ordered by the mayor and the City Council of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, the interlocal agreement regarding the multi-jurisdictional law enforcement navigator program, wherein the city of Crescent Springs agrees to turn over its opioid abatement funds to the Kenton County Fiscal Court as partial funding for the LEND program.
So Mr. Daly sent out a lot of information on all this, and I think the one thing that I would like to make clear is that this is only for the opioid abatement funds. This does not commit us to any other funding down the road. If they come back and say they want more money, that's a different topic for a different time. This is only for the opioid abatement funds that we are currently have received and will be receiving in the future. And if there's no other discussion, I'll take a motion to approve.
Could I ask some questions, please?
Yeah.
If you don't mind. Now, this would be, we're going to go ahead and vote on this now to go ahead and
Yes.
approve that money. I was just curious, and this just for discussion real quick. So we're receiving 20,000 roughly a year, am I correct?
No.
No, that's just total so far.
Just so far. So how much are we receiving a year roughly?
It will depend, anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 maybe.
Gotcha. Okay. I was under the impression we were getting about 22,000,
No.
but nowhere near that.
Mhm.
Okay. One of my concerns was, if we give all this money to Kenton County, which they're receiving quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken. I think I read some of the numbers at the caucus meeting. Right here. Covington alone getting almost 2 million. Kenton County themselves getting, I think, 2.8 million. I don't know where our little $6,000 would really be much of a benefit, but I was just thinking that over, what are we getting, so 14 more years, am I correct?
It's a total of around 20.
Oh, is it okay?
Mhm.
I'm just wondering if, this opioid crisis gets more or less abated, between now, just saying a few years, if we take those funds, are we just doing it for a year or two, or is it going to be for the entire term?
We're doing until we would do something to change it.
Okay. Well, I was just curious, what I was getting at is, if we was to keep all those funds and then just distribute them to when we need them in our city, and, maybe compensate the LEND officers that are doing the work, what's to say that, say we accumulated $100,000 over those 14 years or whatever, and the program came back and said, if you haven't distributed your funds to, anything, then distribute them however you like. So if we gave it all to Kenton County, then, where are we going to be left standing? Am I making any sense there?
Well, I think I understand what you're saying, but we have to use the funds on the opioid abatement.
Correct.
So, they would sit in an account here, never to be distributed and in my opinion, become useless.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the future, maybe they would come back and say, if you haven't distributed your opioid funds, then distribute them however you like, for projects, infrastructure, whatever it might be.
I think my personal opinion is that's a lot of what ifs. And,
Right, sure.
And you're saying they might not. And then what are we going to do with that? We have to figure out how, or future administrations.
Right.
I won't be here in 20 years, let me tell you.
That would require a change in the KRS statutes.
Right. Well, I just seen where there was no deadline to distribute the funds. There was no, from what I've seen. And then, I'm all in for whatever everybody wants to do, but I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Chief Paul, are the companies not being very critical and being watchdogs of how this money is being spent?
The way the money is spent is really spelled out in KRS. Our legislators made it very, literally I think it's like 20 some odd items that you can use it for. And the only thing that realistically we could use as far as the city-wise is naloxone, Narcan. And we already get that provided free. So if really you could buy a lot of Narcan, and that's not all that it's really going to be able to be used for. So the idea is to have the conglomerate come together and be able to use this for the LEM program to where, there are resources, there are, things out there to help people get the help that they need to be able to get off of opioids, and that's what this is particularly for. Now, this employee is basically a social worker, police social worker. They don't respond with us. you know, we can then transfer people that the fire department and police officers have to respond to, and that we don't have a recidivism kind of an action, okay? The hope is that our calls for service and that our times that's utilized to handle the repeat calls and repeat customers can be abated, to be able to be direct them to this program, and now they have a direct connection to a social worker, to resources that can directly help them at that time. So I understand your question about the what if down the road, and like Mr. Baker said, that would require a change in the law, but this is something that can help citizens now.
Sure.
So
I'm
that's
all in for that. How many have we had, and I think you might have addressed this before, how many have we had in Villa Hills and or Crescent Springs as far as problems?
As far as, I would have to give you, I'd have to go back and look as far as overdoses. We take overdose calls pretty frequently.
Okay,
Quite
that's perfect. Okay. Appreciate it.
Pretty frequently.
Yeah, I have a question. What if, or when we run out of funds for, say, the social worker, if we're going to provide that now, what happens when we run out of funds?
We are only committing the funds that we are being given from the opioid abatement program. So we've not committed any city funds to the LEN program at all. We would have to take additional action to commit more funds. We're only committing the funds.
So in perspective, how long do you think this money will be available for a social worker, or the issues that we have addressed today? How long do you think this money is good for?
From what I've heard, you're looking for at least the minimum of a decade to probably a couple decades. Again, there's still, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not trying to speak out of turn, but there's several lawsuits that have not been settled as far as this over. So that could have an increased funding and more money that goes to it. I think to answer your question, maybe what you're asking is, say the money is out and there's no more money coming from Crescent Springs that's going there. What happens to that LEN program?
Thank you.
It falls on the county. It falls on the county to whether they continue that program or they dismantle that program. That there would be no more, and correct me if I'm not trying to speak out of turn there would be no obligation from the city to go anything further.
That's what I understand.
As
So
I
you're
read
saying
the
that-
agreement, that is it. The city only
10 years
commits
at the
funds.
last?
Potentially, yes. I mean, it could be 10 years, it could be 20 years. There's no, it's not really set because there's still lawsuits that haven't been settled.
Yes.
But as it sits right now, I would probably say at least a decade.
Okay, thank you so much.
Question for you.
Sir?
Do you have to dispatch an additional police officer when the social worker, takes a call?
Only if they request it, and if they see that they're being endangered. So I can't predict that. The hope is that, the initial call or even follow-up calls, we could still get dispatched to it. But the idea is that the people that we normally deal with on overdoses, it's not one call, it's not two calls, it's usually 3, 4, 5, 6 calls. And that's very unfortunate. That's what we're trying to stop. So, even if it's 2 calls, it would be dependent upon if the social worker feels that they need, our person basically there as far as safety and guidance for them.
It's also mental health runs.
Absolutely, mental health runs as well. So and that's the other thing too. That's where they're kind of helping out through the opioid abatement is to help out with mental health as well. Because that is something that we are obviously seeing the increase with. You are correct.
Yeah, I was misinformed. I thought there was only 1 or 2 in both cities, so, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Anything else regarding this? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Carol McGowan,
Yes.
Bob Mueller,
Yes.
Don Farley,
Yes.
Jeff Smith,
Yes.
Janine Bell Smith,
Yes.
Mark Wartenberger.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next is municipal order 2025-3, designation of council committees.
Municipal Order 2025-3, designation of council committees of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky. Be it ordered by the mayor and legislative body of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky as follows. Section 1. The council of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky does hereby establish the following council committees to advise the full council in the operation of its legislative duties as provided by statute. Further, the members of council and citizen representatives are appointed to the respective committees as follows. The Finance Committee, Mark Wartenberger, Chair, Bob Mueller, April Robinson, Mike Daly. Public Works Committee, Carol McGowan, Chair, Don Kiley, and Tanya Miller. Villa Hills Safety Committee, Jeff Smith and Don Kiley. Playground Equipment Committee, Carol McGowan, Don Kiley, Tanya Miller, April Robinson, Janine Bell Smith. The Old Crescent Springs Study, Brian Barclay, Carol McGowan, Mike Bailey, Tanya Miller, Greg Sketch, Mike Daughtery, and Dick Burns. Section 2, the committee appointments herein approved and/or made shall be for the year 2025 for the purpose of advising council in the operation of its legislative duties. Official action on behalf of the city can only be taken by city council as a whole. Neither the respective committees nor individual committee members may act on behalf of the city without council approval.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I have discussion, please. I have several issues with the committee assignments. First of all, Jeff Smith has not been put on the Public Works Committee. With his expertise and many years of professionalism in this area, why has he been left off of the Public Works Committee?
I made the decision to use Jeff as a sounding board in the council meetings and that's why it's who it is. I want his expertise outside that committee, and then, that committee will bring stuff to us.
All right, and secondly, I don't know if this fits in there, but the Crescent Springs Villa Hills Voluntary Fire Authority, there's nobody on that committee that is of council. Would that be necessary to place someone from council on that meeting so that we do have a vote?
That is not necessary. They are all, that's on the next municipal order, but they will all be able to vote in the fire authority meetings just like they always have, and it's not required for them to be anybody to be on council.
All right, and my third committee is Janine Val-Smith. The Communication and Transparency Committee has been basically removed. It has been reinstated. I'm asking that it be reinstated because I have been relegated to playground duty. And my area of expertise is in the area of communication with my people. I have basically campaigned on being a voice for the people. And when I remove when you have removed the communication and committee meeting from this Crescent Springs Council, I'm abhorred by it, and I'm asking you to have this put back into the council, and I would like to take the chair as of last year. We don't need to go in all of the horrible things that went on last year. We could do that maybe in an executive session.
We can't do that in executive session.
But what I'm just saying that is, will you reinstate community transportation, I think you say transportation, Communication and Transparency Committee?
No, Mr. Daly and I are going to work on communication and transparency. There were no meetings held last year, and we can go into any reasons that you want to, but it was not a productive committee last year. So
It will be a productive committee.
I've not put it into the committee list this year.
So we'd like to make a movement tonight on this?
Well, they're the mayor's committees. The mayor makes the decision on committees.
Well, that's something I have here too that might be, it's educated me, and maybe it'll educate the rest of our individuals. And it's a KRS, it's 83A130, the mayor council plan, powers and duties of the mayor and council. May I pass this out?
Sure.
You want to do it, April? I gave one to Mark already. And it's my understanding that Villa Hills also has their council members choose their committee members.
I'm not bound by what Villa Hills does.
I know you're not, but I'm saying it's good. It's a good practice.
I've made the committee assignments that I want, that I think are important, that I think that'll be productive moving forward.
I think
And that's my decision.
To move forward to reinstate Communication and Transparency Committee as a voice for the people. As a voice, in a day when we're having open records and open meetings violated, it's been well known that people have been silenced on social issues.
I've not silenced anybody.
That's being changed.
I've not silenced anybody.
I'm not saying that you do, sir. I'm just saying that has to be an issue within the community, the state, the federal government.
All those other things I have no say over.
Well, we understand that.
So,
But my question here again is to reinstate the Communication Transparency Committee, and I will take the chair.
and my answer again is that it is not a committee that I'm going to form.
And Mike and I worked very diligently to try to make that be something last year, which was never happened.
So again,
But it was worked on and it was tried. But it was either one thing or another that completely basically made a quagmire for us to get through.
Well, we can look at it in the future, but as of right now, I'm standing by my decision.
Well, I'm asking you, how long is the future, sir?
Future can be any number of days, weeks, months,
Well, what is the future according to you and this committee?
I don't know. We'll see how well Mr. Daly and I work together on improving things, and then we'll reevaluate as we go along. I can't give you a date, ma'am.
Well, I think it would be.
Now, you're demanding a date from me for something I don't have.
I'm not demanding anything, I'm asking you, as
And
a
I-
prudent person, and an answer from you as a prudent person, to give me a date and a timeline and the issues that we can change.
By the end of the year.
And in the meantime, by the end of the year, well, that's
Yeah.
next year,
Well, that's a date, that's a date and a timeline, that's what you asked for.
2026.
That's what you asked for. By the end of this year, I'll make a decision. If
By
I
the
want
end
to
of this year?
If I want to reinstate it, yes,
So you're
ma'am.
taking the whole year and
I might take less. You asked for a timeline, I don't have one to give you right now, so the timeline that I'm giving you as an answer to the question is by the end of the year, I'll reevaluate it.
Well, will you take a look at section 12 of this paper that I've handed out?
Sure, I'll read it this evening. I'm not going to read it during the meeting.
I suppose that is your prerogative.
Thank you. Any other discussions?
Well, good. I agree, I think Jeff should be on Public Works Committee. I think, how many years you got in Public Works Service?
About 25.
I think he could bring a lot of knowledge to that role, personally.
Well, again, we can look at that, coming down in the future. I'd like to start with this, and then we can make changes however we need to. Any other discussion?
Can we move for a motion to reinstate the Communication Transparency Committee?
Ms. Smith, it's my committees. I'm the
But
one
we
that,
can't-
I'm the one that has made the committee recommendations.
Have you read section 12 of this paper?
I
that I've
told you I
read?
would read that this evening. So we can
If
take a
it's-
motion on municipal order 2025-3. And if we want to not move forward with committees, then we can, keep the city not having committees. If that's how you proceed, want to proceed, or we can have a discussion offline to maybe add a committee later. But my decision as of right now, as we sit here, is to not have that committee.
And I'm just requesting that you do it in a timely fashion within the next month, it's the next 2 weeks, and give your consent to reinstate Communication and Transparency Committee.
I will review in that time. I'm not going to say whether I'm going to.
Understand exactly what this KRS chapter 13
I will
is.
read that and I will reconsider it. But at this time, these are the committees that I'm suggesting.
Because you, Mr. Darby, are our leader. You are leadership. Our leader is to bring us together as a group that works together.
And that's what I'm trying to
It's
do.
not to make us divisive and to separate us. And I see that's what's happening. And I'm very concerned about it.
Well, that is your opinion.
It is my opinion. It is absolute the reality.
That's, again, your opinion, ma'am.
And I wish you would take a good hard look at it and think about it. Because this is not leadership.
In your opinion,
This is not
I respect your opinion.
I respect leadership, and I'm looking for leadership from you, sir.
And I respect your opinion.
And I'm looking for your leadership.
We're going to go, we're going to go back and forth here.
Can we table this and maybe till next?
We need to get committees started. They need to have the meetings. We need to move forward. I've made a commitment that I'll look at it. I'll read the documentation that she has sent.
And I have sent that to you and to Mr. Daly. And I'd like to have this tabled then, till we decide on what you're going to do with Communication and Transparency Committee.
That's up to council. If they, if council wants to not have committees moving forward until we get this decided, that's fine. That is
And understand, there will be no meetings,
There will not be finance meetings.
nothing.
There will not be public works meetings. We cannot have anybody at the safety committee meeting.
So then you need to decide to reinstate the Transportation,
Janine,
excuse me,
Janine,
the
the mayor-
Communication and Transparency Committee.
Janine, the mayor said no. It won't be
I
till
understand. I work very
2026.
well with you, and I understand that.
I understand that,
But
but
I'm
but the
looking for
answer is
leadership.
no. Not till 2026.
Well, that timeline is way too long.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I've said when I would reevaluate it in this year, and we can go back and forth here, ma'am. You're telling me what I have to do?
No, I'm not telling
No,
you.
you are, ma'am. You are. You're telling me that I have to do this,
and. Yes, and
so-
I'm telling you that I have a concern for it. I have sent you an email.
And I've responded. I've
I
responded.
have never received an answer from that as this moment.
I responded to your text that you sent me via email this afternoon at about 1 or 1:30.
Well, I've been checking my emails and which was my text message, and I've heard nothing.
Well, text messaging is not the appropriate way to
I
communicate.
heard nothing from Mike either, and I sent
Is
Mike
it
too.
appropriate to put motions on the floor to go ahead and approve, put a vote on the floor for this?
We can, yes, I'll take a motion.
I'll take a motion to approve municipal order 25-3.
Is there a second?
I'd like to hear the motion. I cannot hear it.
She is moving to approve municipal order 2025-3.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Carol McGowan,
Yes.
Bob Mueller,
Yes.
Don Kylie,
No.
Jeff Smith,
No.
Janine Bell Smith,
No,
Mark Wittenberger,
No.
Okay, so we have no committees, we have no committee meetings.
thank you.
Municipal order 2025-4, please.
Appointment of non-elected city officers and members of city boards and authorities of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky. Be it ordered by the mayor and legislative body of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, appointment by the mayor of the following persons to serve as officers or members of boards and various authorities as required by statute or contractual obligation by the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, as hereinafter set forth, is hereby approved, and the mayor, by his signature hereto, does hereby appoint said persons to the offices as indicated. To the extent required by law, the council of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, does hereby approve the persons to serve in offices, boards, and authorities as hereinafter provided in this order. Crescent Villa Fire Authority, each for a one-year term for 2025. Brian Barclay, Sue Cassidy, and Patrick Hackett. PDS Planning Council, each for a term of 1 year for 2025. Bob Mueller is the delegate, Janine Bell Smith is the alternate. NKMGL, Mike Daly for 1 year for 2025. Board of Adjustments, Ron Shear, Vince Albanese, both for 4 years, that terms ends 12/31/28. Tony Hester for 4 years, but the term ends 12/31/26. Kenton County Planning and Zoning Commission, Greg Sketch for 4 years, term ends 12/31/28. Stormwater Representative Mike Daly for 2025. ADC Administrator April Robinson for 1 year for the year 2025. Section 2, the appointments herein approved and/or made shall be for the year 2025 or for the term provided by statute or contract, and shall continue until the successor of each appointee is thereafter appointed and/or approved. Non-elected city officers shall continue unless removed as provided in KRS 83A.080. Section 3, the foregoing officials or members shall have such duties, obligations, rights, and privileges as provided by ordinances and the laws of the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and the United States of America, and is provided by contracts requiring city participation.
Thank you. Any discussion on municipal order 2025-4?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Carol McGowan,
Yes.
Bob Mueller,
Yes.
Don Kylie,
Yes.
Jeff Smith,
Yes.
Janine Bell Smith,
Yes.
Mark Wittenberger,
Yes.
Thank you. Last municipal order 2025-5, authorizing an agreement with Rigler Blacktop for the bid for street repairs.
Municipal Order 2025-5, a municipal order of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, wherein the City Council authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with Rigler Blacktop accepting the bid for street repairs for the city. Whereas Rigler Blacktop submitted the best bid from the request for proposal, RFP, to effect street repairs in the city of Crescent Springs, Kentucky. And whereas the city engineer has reviewed the bids and has recommended that the city accept the bid of Rigler Blacktop. And whereas the bid from Rigler Blacktop is for the amount of $64,195. And whereas City Council has reviewed the report of the city engineer and believes the bid of Rigler Blacktop is the best bid, and the city should award the contract for street repairs to Rigler Blacktop. Now therefore be it ordered by the City Council and the Mayor of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, that the Mayor is hereby authorized to execute the agreement with Rigler Blacktop regarding repairs scheduled by the city for certain streets within the city limits of the City of Crescent Springs, Kentucky, for the sum of $64,195.
Any discussion on this?
What streets are those again?
Mr. Daly gave those, or Tom, you gave those streets, I don't remember exactly off the top of my head.
Oh, I think I got it here. Crescent Avenue, Paulson,
It's the portion of Crescent Avenue. It is a portion of Overlook Drive. And the entire length of Park Street. And with Overlook Drive, we're looking at the curbs and gutters as well.
And you're also looking at a storm sewer
And a
project.
storm sewer.
Can you speak up, because I didn't hear a word you said.
Yeah, I apologize. So it's a portion of Crescent Avenue, a portion of Overlook Drive with the curbs, a Crescent Avenue storm sewer project, and the entire length of Park Street.
And these are the contractors of the bids we received? Are you on this page?
Yes.
So Rigler is the less expensive, we are choosing Rigler?
It would be your,
Yes.
That's who we're recommending.
That's who we're
yes.
recommending.
yes.
Any other questions? Here now, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept Rigler for the road improvements.
A second.
So just to be clear, that's municipal order 2025-5 is your motion to approve. Okay, just want to make sure that Mr. Baker gets his notes correct.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Carol McGowan,
Yes.
Bob Mueller,
Yes.
Don Kylie,
Yes.
Jeff Smith,
Yes.
Janine Bell Smith,
Yes.
Mark Wittenberger,
Yes.
Thank you very much. Any committee reports?
Mayor, can I go back to new business for just 1 second?
Sure.
Being as the caucus meeting wasn't televised, I just wanted to reiterate that when I was running for council this year and 2 years ago when I was running, the main concern was Buttermilk Pike traffic. And I just want to let everyone know that that will be my main concern, to look into Buttermilk Pike traffic, and we'll try to get that along with council. Maybe get a tour together or something, see if we can get that resolved. So, put that out there. I know you all said you were working on
Yeah,
this.
we are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee reports?
I'm not on the committee for fire. There were 2 out of the 3 people that are assigned to that committee that were there. They had extensive conversations as far as it is somebody needs to be on council or not. And no, nobody needs to be on council to be on the fire committee. Somebody of those 3 are going to be responsible for sending the notes to either Mike Daly or the mayor, and then they can choose to distribute or not.
Correct. Thank you. Mr. Flaherty, since you're the only resident here, any comments?
I do not have any comments.
Thank you. I'll have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Thank you all.